Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Sandy Smith, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Chaplain Cameron West. We warmly welcome Group Captain Ernie Walsh, retired, President of the ACT Division of the Air Force Association. As always, we welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by visitors to the memorial. If you are able, I now invite you to please stand and join in singing the national anthem. For those who are able, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where family and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight we'll read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Flight Lieutenant Derrick Robert Stone. Derrick Stone was born in the Melbourne suburb of Clifton Hill on the 5th of December 1914, the son of Frederick and Mary Stone. Young Derrick grew up in Melbourne, where he worked as a storekeeper. He was also interested in aircraft after 2 years of senior cadets and a year of service in the Citizen Forces. He had 2 years as a member of the Citizen Air Force before enlisting in the Royal Australian Air Force on the 3rd of February 1936. Having begun his working career as a storekeeper, Derrick Stone began his RAF career as a storekeeper in a stores squadron. In July 1937, however, he attended flight training school and a year later transferred to No. 4 Squadron. That same month, he married Marjorie Ann Good in Malvern. The couple had reportedly met at church. In early 1939, Stone transferred to No. 6 Squadron, and later in the year, as war in Europe began looking inevitable, attended No. 1 Flying Training School. In July 1940, Stone's skills were needed more than ever. He transferred to No. 1 Service Flying Training School at RAF Point Cook in Victoria, where he worked as a flying instructor. In September, Stone was granted a commission, and by May 1943 was a flying instructor at No. 5 Operational Training Unit based at Wagga Wagga in New South Wales, where pilots and navigators were trained for active service. In September 1943, Stone transferred to No. 30 Squadron, a long-range fighter squadron operating the Bristol Beaufighter. The first RAF Beaufighter squadron to see action, No. 30 Squadron was deployed to Port Moresby in Papua, operating as a low-level ground attack unit targeting Japanese shipping and coastal bases around Boona and Sanananda and supporting operations along the Kokoda Trail. In July 1943, the squadron moved to Goodenough Island off Papua's east coast, tasked with attacking Japanese airfields and searching for supply barges and undertaking convoy escort duties. On the 12th of October 1943, Flight Lieutenant Stone and his navigator, Flight Officer Edward Morris Hadwell, took off from Goodenough Island on Stone's 6th sortie with his squadron. The pair joined a force of more than 300 Allied aircraft involved in an attack on Tabira Airfield. Their aircraft was last seen 2 miles east of the enemy airfield, climbing away after the attack. It was never seen again. Officially, both crew were declared dead the day of the mission. Confirmation of their death came following reports that Japanese forces had visited the crash site near Ganai, 40 kilometres southeast of Rabaul, New Britain, and buried the remains of the crew. In November 2000, a relative of one of the crew visited Rabaul and was taken to the crash site. A RAF team later recovered the remains of the crew, which were buried at Bita Paka War Cemetery on the 11th of November 2000. The funeral was attended by Stone's relatives. Posthumously mentioned in dispatches, Derrick Stone was 28 years old when he died. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my left, amongst almost 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Flight Lieutenant Derrick Robert Stone, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of our director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today. We wish you all a very pleasant evening.